What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. I am your host, AC the Engineer, and we are at episode 74. Let's give it a round of applause. Yep, we're at episode 74 now. As you may know, or as you should know, is that now I'm streaming Monday through Friday. It's either going to be starting at 6 or 7. So just look for me to start between then. And we're going to go over 4 different topics that happened. Videos that came out today, news reports that came out today or the day before. Just the most recent stuff so we can be up to date on everything. Remember, if you disagree with anything I said, please leave me a message, a comment, and let's have a discussion about it. If I got something wrong, tell me. If I'm missing a piece of the puzzle, let me know. Because we all need to review the world together. We have to review the world together. Now, y'all, remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos I'm dropping. But you know how I like to do it? I like to jump right into it. Let's jump right into it. The first thing we're going to talk about today, the very first thing is everybody. If you haven't seen it yet, but we had a DC National Guard shooting. A lot of different pieces. Seems like the shooter worked for the CIA at one point. So we got a lot of crazy information, but we'll be able to see what the shooter looks like, or the suspected shooter looked like, and hear about the victims who were shot. So let's get over into it. We got a few videos to look at. So let's jump over into that and see what we can learn from this situation. It's a crazy world we live in, but we got to review the world together, y'all. We have to review the world together. Let's jump into it.
Yesterday on Thanksgiving Eve at approximately 2:15, near 17th and I Streets in the northwest section of the district, near the Farragut West Metro Station, 2 uniformed guardsmen were ambushed in a brazen and targeted attack. A lone gunman opened fire without provocation, ambush style, armed with a .357 Smith & Wesson revolver. One guardsman is struck, goes down, and then the shooter leans over and strikes the guardsman again. Another guardsman is struck several times. Fellow guardsmen who were there responded immediately, engaging the suspect, neutralizing the threat, and subduing him at the scene. He was transported to a local hospital where he remains, as we speak, under heavy guard. Thanks to the swift and coordinated response of the National Guard and the Metropolitan Police Department, no additional victims were harmed, and the scene was secured within minutes. The suspect, he has been identified as Ramanullah Lakhanwal, a 29-year-old Afghan who entered the United States under Biden's Operation Allies Welcome, a program following the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. He resided in Bellingham, Washington, with his wife and, we believe, 5 children. And we're working very closely with our federal partners, especially DHS and the FBI, to review his immigration history and the vetting process itself. What we know about him is that he drove his vehicle across country from the state of Washington with the intended target of coming to our nation's capital.
So break down a little bit what she said. So he came in during Biden administration. He drove cross country from another state to Washington, D.C. and I don't know if his goal was to kill the National Guard or why was he targeting them in the first place. Hopefully we'll get some more information. But it's a crazy situation. We got to pray for the family like always. But it's absolutely crazy. And he had a revolver .357, leaving no shells. But let's get over into this next video where we learn a little bit more about the victims.
Welcome to CBS News 24/7 on this Thanksgiving Day. I'm Tom Hansen. The search for answers is underway after a gunman opened fire, critically wounding 2 National Guard members in Washington. This was the scene Wednesday afternoon after the 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard were shot just blocks from the White House in an ambush-style attack. FBI Director Kash Patel says 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Andrew Wolf are both in critical condition. Here's what we know right now. The suspect has been identified as Ramanullah Lachenwall, an Afghan national. He entered the U.S. in 2021 and was granted asylum this year. Lachenwall previously worked with the U.S. government, including the CIA, as a member of a partner force in Kandahar. That job ended following the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. And this morning, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro said it was too early to know a motive. The suspect will be charged with assault with intent to kill.
So let's back it up just a tad bit. So he worked with the CIA at one point in Afghanistan with a partner force. So, I mean, I would think that they done a good background check on him for when he come into the immigration status. But I wonder what drove him to go and shoot the National Guard. But let's keep going. Let's keep going.
U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. And this morning, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro said it was too early to know a motive. The suspect will be charged with assault with intent to kill.
We will hold this perpetrator accountable under the full weight of the law. Our nation's capital should not and must not be a place where evil comes to commit violence, whatever their cause or motive may be.
All right, CBS News Homeland Security and Justice correspondent Nicole Skanga is in our Washington bureau. Nicole, good to see you as always. So get us up to speed. What are we learning about the investigation?
Hi, Tom. Good to see you. Officials say the case is being treated as a terrorism investigation. It's being led by the FBI, and agents have launched what they're calling a coast-to-coast probe that includes multiple search warrants, witness interviews, and evidence recovery across several states, according to FBI Director Patel. Now, a search warrant was executed overnight at the suspect's residence in Bellingham, Washington State, where investigators say they seized cell phones, laptops, iPads, and other digital material that is already under forensic review by the FBI. All the individuals located inside that home were interviewed, with further questioning to be expected, according to Patel. Now, leads from those interviews in Washington State also prompted some interviews in San Diego, according to the FBI director, who also says authorities are now analyzing the firearm that was used here, and they're canvassing blocks near the crime scene here in D.C. to expand their search to associates here in the United States and also abroad.
So it sounds like a patchwork is beginning to come into place as for the profile of the suspect. What do we know about the suspect, Nicole?
Yeah, in terms of the profile of the suspect, Tom, the alleged gunman, his name is Ramanullah Lachenwall, and he's a 29-year-old Afghan national who entered the United States in September of 2021 under Operation Allies Welcome. Authorities say that he traveled from Washington State to Washington, D.C., across the country by car, and allegedly intended to target the nation's capital. He was armed with a revolver and, according to investigators, fired what they said without provocation, including shooting one victim after leaning over them on the ground. Just a horrific scene. The suspect remains hospitalized under guard after an armed guardsman returned fire, and several other guardsmen subdued him. And we are told that he is not cooperating with investigators at this time.
And speaking of hospitalized, obviously the 2 victims here, what is the latest on their condition?
Yeah, the wounded soldiers have been identified as 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Andrew Wolf, both members of the West Virginia National Guard. Officials say they were ambushed while they were patrolling. They were stationed near the Farragut West Metro on Thanksgiving Eve. Both are in critical condition in the hospital after surgery, and their families are now with them there. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro really emphasized the gravity of the situation, warning that if either of these soldiers does not survive, the case could become a homicide prosecution.
Yeah, and Nicole, just turning back to Lachenwall for a second, obviously you mentioned that investigators are piecing together the specifics on the timeline, but obviously there is significant motivation for someone to drive across the country, if they're willing to do that drive. Do we know what possible charges he may face?
Yeah, the suspect currently faces 3 counts of assault with intent to kill while armed, along with another charge for possession of a firearm during a crime of violence. Prosecutors say he faces up to 15 years on the assault counts alone, with additional charges that could come depending on new evidence and the victim's medical outcomes here, too. The U.S. Attorney's Office said it's prepared to elevate this case to murder 1, first-degree murder, if either soldier dies from their injuries. And in that case, we also heard from Attorney General Pam Bondi this morning on Fox News, and she says that she is prepared, if that happens, to pursue the death penalty. So some very, very serious charges.
Now, I will say it's because they're trying to say it could be a terrorist attack or something like that. He had a revolver, a revolver with him, a Smith & Wesson revolver. Most it holds 6 shots. They didn't mention about him having any more bullets. That might just be something they didn't mention. He didn't have any other weapons. Probably 6. I don't think there might be some that hold 8, but I believe most of them hold 6 shots. What is he planning to do with just 6 shots? I don't know if he was planning to commit a terrorist act, or he had some grudge against a certain people. Hopefully more details come out to where we can find out a little bit more about why he did it. Because yes, it takes a lot to drive across the country, to go across the state to another state, across states to another state, to go to DC. It's a crazy thing, but he's going to be punished the rightful way. Let's get
is here, and we heard U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro telling reporters this morning that this man chose the wrong city, that the suspect chose the wrong country, and Mayor Muriel Bowser calling this an attack on the United States.
Yeah, officials across the board certainly not mincing words.
Absolutely. Wow. Let's get over into one last video and see what else we can learn from it.
National Guard soldiers from West Virginia remain in critical condition in the hospital after they were shot while on patrol in our nation's capital. The U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C. says the suspect faces at least 4 felony charges, including attempt to kill while armed. Multiple law enforcement officers say the suspect is a 29-year-old Afghan national who is believed to have entered the U.S. in 2021. The suspect is now in custody and is not cooperating with authorities. President Trump described it as a monstrous ambush-style attack and says the suspect responsible will pay this.
Let's back that up a tad bit. We got some video of him being arrested.
Not cooperating with authorities. President Trump described it as a monstrous ambush-style attack and says the suspect responsible will pay the steepest possible price.
We will make America totally safe again, and we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice.
Multiple sources tell CBS News a third uninjured National Guard member shot back at the gunman, hitting him and ending the attack. In the wake of the shooting, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said hundreds more National Guard troops will be deployed to D.C.
Now, we're not going to go over into that. But now I wonder, why didn't was the guard not able to take his life, or was he not feeling threatened? Well, he definitely felt threatened enough, but was he not able to finish the job? But I guess it helps us that he didn't end up, how did I say it? You know what I'm trying to say. How he didn't end up ending the threat, because we can actually hopefully get some information of why he targeted them, what was going through his mind. But some people might not care about that. But I would like to know what was going through his mind. Did he have a personal grudge against those two? Did he just hate National Guard? Why did he hate them? He used to work for the CIA, partnered agency of the U.S. So it's a lot of questions, but that is the most recent stuff that we have on that situation, and we'll keep up to date. If you hear anything different, let me know. But if you disagree with anything I said, please let me know, and let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion about it. It's a crazy situation, y'all. It's a very crazy situation. But we're going to pivot. We're going to pivot over into the next topic. Something crazy. Teachers plot the unthinkable. So we got some teachers plotting an anti-ICE plot. Some people just need to do their job. What are you doing? They're throwing their lives away, but some people are stupid. Some people are very stupid. Let's get over into it and see what we can learn from these situations. We got teachers plotting the unthinkable. Teachers plotting the unthinkable. Let's get into it.
Also breaking today, a Virginia teacher and his brother are accused of a chilling plot to attack ICE, potentially with explosive rounds. The man on the right is John Bennett. He served as an assistant principal at a high school in Virginia Beach. DHS says the case is indicative of the more than 1,100% increase in assaults against ICE agents. Joining us now is ICE Director Todd Lyons. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Rather disturbing details that we are learning about that.
Yeah, Sandra, thanks for having me. It's really scary because, unfortunately, that's the day-to-day lives now of every men and women in ICE, whether it's a special agent, deportation officer, or our trial attorneys. We're constantly under a barrage of attacks. And unfortunately, a lot of these attacks are being driven by some crazy rhetoric that are coming out of a lot of elected officials. And it's really sad because now you have, plots like this. You have ramming incidents up more than 800%. The doxing is just getting unreal, and it's really scary times right now. Just for for us being out there doing our law enforcement mission every day.
As far as the numbers are concerned, the death threats against ICE officers, the numbers that we're looking at here are staggering, 8,000% increase. So, how do you combat this, and how are ICE officers able to carry out their jobs, or are
that's an insane stat to me. So the death threats against ICE officers, since they've been going through the ICE raids and taking away the illegal immigrants, has gone up 8,000%. 8,000%. That's a staggering number. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But let's keep going into this.
Are you going to get to a point where there's such a dip in morale you start to lose some?
I think the biggest thing for us, Sandra, is the fact that the men and women of ICE are excited to actually out there do their law enforcement mission again. But yeah, that's definitely on their mind every day they go out there. And one of the best things we have going for us right now is we have a secretary that's out front, leading the way. She understands exactly what the men and women are going through. She's fighting for us every day at her level. And we have a president that has our back. But really, the Department of Justice has been stepping up in huge ways to make sure that cases like these are being prosecuted, and those people that are conducting these threats are being held to the the highest standards in the code of law. And I think as we keep going along, we're going to see more and more people arrested and held accountable. And ICE agents know that the Department of Justice and this administration has the back of the men and women out there. But it is scary times because every time we go out there, you have to provide provide law enforcement and security for law enforcement officers just out there trying to do their job.
Okay. I want to ask you about this story that DHS is reporting about these 4 House Democrats. We have their pictures. We can put them up for our viewers to see. These 4 House.
Oh, so it looks like that is all. What is this? Yeah. But let's get over into the article, break down a little bit more about the teachers, because that's who we really want to see. Let's get over into that. So an assistant principal in Virginia and his brother were arrested at an airport while en route to Las Vegas, where they allegedly wanted to meet with like-minded individuals and plan violence against immigration and custom enforcement officers. Joe Bennett, 54, and Mark Bennett, 59, were both busted in Norfolk International Airport on Wednesday, less than a week after they allegedly hatched the deranged anti-ICE plans, reported. So that's what he looks like. So that was John Bennett, 54, allegedly told his brother that he wanted to tag along on the nefarious trip to Las Vegas and go hunting. So that's the Mark Bennett allegedly confessed that he was recently purchased an assault rifle specifically because he can employ bullets that pierce certain vests like the ones used by law enforcement. So he's plotting, ready for it. An off-duty officer with the Norfolk Police Department claimed that he overheard the brothers 4 days earlier discussing how ICE agents are kidnapping individuals and that they are need to do something about it while dining at a restaurant in Virginia Beach, according to the criminal complaint obtained by the outlet. So they're speaking on this stuff in a restaurant while having dinner, saying that they're kidnapping individuals. And then they say, we got to do something about it. Mark Bennett allegedly told his brother about his intentions to fly to Las Vegas and meet with some more like-minded people to formulate an enforcement idea and plan, according to the complaint. The elder brother also allegedly confessed that he had recently purchased an assault rifle, specifically because it utilized explosive rounds that's needed to penetrate the vest worn by ICE agents. Joe Bennett, an assistant principal at Kempsville High School, I might be saying that wrong, in Virginia Beach, piped up and said that he wanted to tag along on the trip to Vegas and go hunting, as alleged in the complaint. So the teacher wasn't even the one who had the main plot. He wanted to tag along with his brother, throwing his life away. The complaint stated that Mark Bennett bought a ticket to fly to Sin City on Wednesday. It's unclear if his brother ever purchased one as well. Joe Bennett is an assistant principal at the Kempsville High School in Virginia. Joe Bennett was placed on leave following his arrest, and he did take a 1-year break from teaching and tried his hands at police work, according to his LinkedIn, before hanging up his badge and returning to teach high school mathematics. So a math teacher tried to turn into an officer. It didn't work out, and he went back to teaching math. The brothers are charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit malicious wounding. They are both granted bond after their arraignment on Thursday. Absolutely crazy. I don't understand why people will plot, especially speak on plot. Obviously, I will never advocate for anybody committing any kind of violence against anyone. I think it's best to just talk it through. But people, why are you plotting things at a restaurant with random people around? But people are stupid. We know that people are stupid and people are deranged. Throwing your life away because you're saying that ICE is kidnapping people. But people are stupid. People are stupid. Yes, people are upset with ICE, but why are you trying to throw your life away? You said that they're kidnapping people. I understand you're upset about it. Then go. What were you planning to do? Go shoot up the officers? And then what if you accidentally hit someone you're trying to protect? See, people don't think these things through, and then they talk about you're a high school mathematics teacher and an assistant principal, and you thinking about going shooting up an ICE officer. It would have been your last day around. It's a crazy situation, y'all. It's a very crazy situation. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. Some people will do the unthinkable because they think they're doing the right thing. Absolutely crazy. But that is the teachers. Teachers are plotting the unthinkable. A teacher plotted the unthinkable, and he's just tagging along with his brother. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. It's a crazy world we live in, y'all. It's a crazy world we live in, but we got to keep reviewing the world together. We have to keep reviewing the world together. Absolutely crazy. Let me see if there's anything before we... Okay, let's get over into this. Let's keep going into this a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So I'll go over into this article. So the two brothers in Virginia have been arrested after an off-duty officer overheard the men allegedly discussing a plan to kill immigration officers. John Benson and Mark Benson, both U.S. citizens, were arrested late Wednesday. So like we know, late Wednesday on the allegations of carrying out attack on ICE agents. It was said that the department began an investigation on November 17th with the Virginia Beach Police Department after an off-duty Norfolk police officer reportedly heard the brothers. Mark was overheard saying he's going to Las Vegas, so we know all this. Both the men were charged with conspiracy to commit malice wounds, according to the court records. It's chilling that a human being, much less a child educator, would plot to ambush and kill ICE law enforcement officers, offering such specifics as to getting a high caliber rifle that would pierce the law enforcement's bulletproof vest. So Assistant Secretary, so that's what the Assistant Secretary of Public Affairs said. The brothers and their attorneys could not immediately be reached for comment. During a hearing last week in a court, Virginia Beach General District Court, their attorneys said that the conversation was hearsay and that the brothers posed no threat to the community, according to the news outlets. The attorney said that Mark was traveling to Las Vegas for a Formula One race before he was apprehended in the Norfolk Airport. I might be saying that. According to the news reports, they were released on home confinement under the pretrial supervision. The statement highlights what she described as a sharp increase in assaults and death threats against immigration officers. Homeland Security Office has ramped up enforcement under President Trump's sweeping anti-immigration crackdown, highlights by mass arrest. So like as we talked about before, the death threats on ICE agents has gone up 8,000%. And we got teachers plotting to doing the same thing. People we would trust with our children are even doing this. It's a crazy world we live in, y'all. It's a crazy world. Well, like I said, we got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. Absolute crazy. We're going to pivot. We're going to pivot now. It looks like we got some crazy stuff happening in a fire rescue. So at the fire department, basically, some employees are a scandal going about hazing and waterboarding. Yes, different employees or new employees are hazing them with waterboarding or some other stuff like that. So let's get over into this. People, first of all, I don't understand why anybody would let you do that to anybody in the first place. It doesn't make any sense to me. No one's going to waterboard me just because I'm a new person. It's absolutely crazy. But let's get over and hear what's happening in this situation and see if we can find out anything about this situation. It's a crazy world, y'all. It's a crazy world. But let's jump over into it.
4 people fired from Marion County Fire Rescue after what deputies describe as a hazing incident gone horribly wrong. I'm Catherine Silver. It all started at this fire station where a 19-year-old was detailing ladders. Deputies say 2 firefighter EMTs rubbed grease on his uniform. Later that day, there was a misunderstanding about a pizza being thrown away. And then there was a TikTok video that the 19-year-old apparently had on his cell phone that the suspects wanted. And that's just the beginning. This is Fire Station 21, where deputies in Marion County say a 19-year-old firefighter wasn't just hazed, he was battered and kidnapped.
Individuals at the firehouse wanted a video from TikTok that the victim had. It was just a dance video that the victim probably was embarrassed to give up.
Sheriff Billy Woods described in detail what happened on November 19th. What's written out in these arrest affidavits for 4 Marion County Fire Rescue employees: EMT Edward Kenny, firefighter EMT Seth Day, firefighter EMT Tate Trouthwine, and paramedic Kaylee Bradley.
They chased him down in the parking lot. Once they caught him, they removed his pants from him, took his belt, then began to strike him on the backside with that belt.
The sheriff says it escalated even more when the victim was dragged across this parking lot where Kenny and Day allegedly held him down while Trouthwine covered his face with a towel and poured water over it. Deputies say,
"Oh nah, we living in a different world." So first of all, they took his pants off, took his belt, and basically whooped him with the belt. That's we gotta say how it is. They whooped him with the belt on his behind. Then they dragged him over to the car, put a towel over his face, and started pouring water down it like they were waterboarding him. A 19-year-old now, a 19-year-old. I wonder why he didn't get up. Well, did he not want to get? I would have got up and started swinging. It was just me, but let's keep going now.
The only reason the other EMTs let go was because a call for service came in.
A small group of employees treated the firehouse like a frat house.
Their behavior does not reflect who we are and what we stand for.
Anyone who hears this story is going to have a reaction. What was your reaction when you learned this all started over something like a TikTok video, a pizza, and some grease on a shirt?
In my 30 years as a firefighter, this is the most egregious thing that I've seen been reported to me. Our priority moving forward is ensuring that every member of this department works in a safe, respectful, and professional environment.
I asked the chief if the 19-year-old who's been working at the department for less than a year is still working here after having to endure all of this. The chief told me he is at his own request, and his own words were, "I have a job to do, and I need to do that job." In Marion County,
Yes, I'm happy that he is. He would have been. I'm still trying to figure out why he let them take his pants off and whoop him. Maybe he couldn't fight back. But that's crazy. Let's get over into this next video from a different news outlet to see if we can learn anything else.
All right, Stu, thank you. Meantime, new court documents obtained by WESH 2 shed light on an alleged incident of hazing and waterboarding that landed 4 Marion County Fire Rescue employees in jail.
All 4 have now been terminated. They worked at Marion County Fire Station 21, which is where the hazing is alleged to have happened.
That's where we find WESH 2's David Jones. David, the sheriff says this is all tied to a viral video.
That's what he's saying. These new documents shed some new light on this. They say that the victim in this case, a new hire, told some Station 21 co-workers here about a video of him that went viral on TikTok showing him dancing. That's when he says the hazing escalated.
A small group of employees treated the firehouse like a frat house.
The alleged hazing happened at Fire Station 21 off 200. Firefighter Tate Troutwine, EMT Edward Kenny, firefighter EMT Seth Day, all facing charges of kidnapping, robbery, and battery. Paramedic Kaylee Bradley facing charges of robbery and principal accessory to robbery.
Their actions, now the subject of serious felony charges, represent a disturbing violation of everything that this profession stands for.
In court documents obtained by WESH 2, prosecutors describe group hazing of a 19-year-old coworker who's been with the department for 5 months. The victim told prosecutors it started with Day and Troutwine wiping grease on him and escalated to his things being thrown out when one firefighter lied to him.
So they were just basically bullying. Grown men. I guess bullying happens everywhere. But you can't put up with it. That's how they keep doing it to you. You either got to say something or stop them.
Prosecutors, it started with Day and Troutwine wiping grease on him and escalated to his things being thrown out when one firefighter lied to another, saying the victim threw out leftover pizza. But the victim said it escalated. He told detectives Troutwine saw he had a lot of followers on Instagram. He said he told Troutwine and the others it was from a dancing TikTok that went viral but has since been deleted. He said Troutwine took his boots and threw them into the woods. When he went to get them, he says Kenny grabbed him from behind, then Kenny and Day held him. He says Troutwine took his phone and gave it to Bradley. The victim says every time someone asked him for the password and he wouldn't give it to them, they'd whip him with a belt. Then he told detectives they covered his face with a towel and waterboarded him until they got a call for service and let him go.
Grown men acting like frat boys. Some men don't grow up.
In my 30 years as a firefighter, this is the most egregious thing that I've seen, been reported to me. And as fire chief, I was in shock.
And we don't have mug shots for the 4 at this moment because they are public safety employees, although all 4 have now been terminated. The fire chief, meanwhile, says retraining will take place, and he says the victim in this case is already back on the job. Covering Marion County Live this afternoon, David Jones, WESH 2 News.
Absolutely crazy. Let's go over to one more video and see if we can learn anything about this stupid, horrible situation.
To a developing story, waterboarded, stripped, whipped, and dragged across a parking lot. A Marion County firehouse turned into a frat house during the apparent hazing of a teen firefighter.
4 Marion County Fire Rescue employees now fired and facing serious charges. The group arrested today for kidnapping, battery, and robbery. The sheriff says it all started over a TikTok. Fox 35's Matt Trezza is live in Marion County tonight. So Matt, how did this escalate so quickly?
Yeah, it did escalate very quickly, according to the sheriff's office. Sheriff Billy Wood saying all of this going down inside this fire station.
The 4 firefighters and the charges in which they are facing is kidnapping, robbery, battery, and accessory.
Deputies say it happened inside Marion County Fire Station 21 on Southwest 90th Street, where the victim and his fellow firefighters were cleaning equipment. They say it started with firefighters wiping pizza grease on the victim's clothes.
And it escalated from there. It also, the whole thing began because the 4 that arrested, or individuals at the firehouse, wanted a video from TikTok that the victim had.
Investigators say the 4 attackers wanted to see a viral video that the victim still had on his phone but had deleted from the internet along with his social media account.
These firefighters tried to get the password from him, in which he refused. During the process, they continued to escalate.
Now, I think we got the gist of everything. Let's go over to this video or this article I just found so we can actually see the names of the people who actually did this. So let's get over into that. So real quickly, so you got 1 of 4 Marion County fire workers accused of hazing incident makes bond. So 1 of the 4 Marion County fire rescue employees accused of waterboarding and whipping a co-worker doing what authorities called hazing has made bond on Thanksgiving morning. So Tate Truin, I don't know who that is. I don't know how to say that name. So Tate Truin, 19, had his bond set at $101,000 when he and his 3 co-defendants appeared before a judge. Stated the public information officer. So Strong told Spectrum in the email that he had bonded out. So the following co-defendants had not bonded out yet. So we got Edward Kinney, the 2nd or the 3rd, Seth Day, and Kaylee Bradley. So the woman is the oldest one. So these are the ages. You got 19, 22, 22, and 25. All bonds set at about $100,000. So they got to come out with 10% of that, so $10,000. Absolutely crazy. So they stated that the 4 are, so we basically understand everything what happened, but these are the individuals. Ages ranging from 19 to 25, acting like frat boys. Some people never grow up. They just threw away their careers. They probably worked hard to get to where they are now. And they just threw it away trying to haze. And why are you whipping a coworker? What are you doing? Why? Just because you want to get into his phone? Waterboarding? So I would have snapped. And they would have had to call somebody to get me off of them. We just got to be honest about it. They would have had to call somebody to get me off of them. You try to waterboard me? Nah. We are not in school no more. Especially waterboarding never would have happened in school. But you're bullying me like we're in little kids. Come on now. No, absolutely not. But bullies are everywhere. And the only way you got to stand up to the bullies is you got to talk your shit back. Ignore them. Some people can't ignore them. But if they touch you, it's over with. I've learned that from when I was younger. My mama told me that if they touch you, they try to swing at you, it's over with. They whooped you with a belt. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. So the kid was 19 who was the male victim. And one 19-year-old and two 22-year-olds. Kaylee was probably, I don't know what Kaylee was doing back there, but this is a crazy world, y'all. This is a crazy world we live in. But we got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. How would you react it? Would you have been like me and got up and started going crazy, swinging? Please tell me you wouldn't have been like him and just took it until the only thing that stopped it was because they got a call. Who knows how far it would have went? It's a crazy day. It's a crazy day. But they're bonded out, and I wonder because they're getting charged with, what are they getting charged with? They're getting charged with hazing, some kind of hazing. It's a crazy world. I don't know the exact charges, but it's crazy. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. But we're going to pivot to the very last thing we're going to talk about today. Something I wasn't expecting to see. It looks like a man got over 20 years for tracking down and trying to kill his former classmates. I don't know what he was doing. But let's get over into it. We got a video to watch and an article to get into. But what could go through somebody's mind to where somebody wants to kill their former high school classmates? I don't know how old he is. Hopefully he's not too old and just came back like 20 years later. But let's get over into it and see what we can learn from this situation. Some people have issues. Some people, I don't know if it's mental, but some people just don't care about the consequences of their actions. But let's get over into it. Let's jump over into it.
Gwinnett County man is heading to prison. A jury convicted him of carrying out a violent crime spree targeting former teammates. Central Gwinnett County Bureau Chief Matt Johnson's live at the courthouse. And Matt, one of the victims was left with brain damage.
And it's truly a miracle that victim survived. And it's not the only shooting linked to one defendant. It's during a crime spree that prosecutors say lasted about 6 months.
His normal is completely different.
Talal Ansa fought to survive the shooting that left him with brain damage and 8 gunshot wounds as he came home from work last December.
The one place that's supposed to be our safe haven has been destroyed.
Now his family's fight for justice has come to an end after the gunman's betrayal led to a conviction.
I think we're a lot more at peace now knowing that, he's behind bars.
On Monday, a jury convicted 20-year-old Jet Horn for shooting his former South Gwinnett High School basketball teammate 8 times, including once in the head, at Ansa's family's home near Snellville. The 21-year-old survived, but the violence didn't stop.
Let's back that up a tad bit.
He's now knowing that, he's behind bars.
On Monday, a jury convicted 20-year-old Jet Horn for shooting his former South Gwinnett High School basketball teammate 8 times, including once in the head, at Ansa's family's home near Snellville. The 21-year-old survived, but the violence didn't stop. 3 months later, police say Horn shot at another former classmate and stray bullets hit neighboring homes. In May, he carjacked a 3rd victim at gunpoint. Ballistics linked all 3 attacks, but the question of why still lingers.
His family spoke, and of course they talked to my mom and apologized and everything, but I think it had something to do with a mental health crisis.
The jury convicted Horn for each shooting and sentenced him to 30 years with 25 to serve in prison. For the Ansa family, healing begins with hope.
We've come so far in the past 11 months, and at this point, it's only up from here.
And Ance's family says the doctors are optimistic because of his young age. They are hopeful that he can walk and talk again. The family says that he'll undergo therapy when he's ready for it. Live in Gwinnett County, Matt Johnson, Channel 2 Action News.
25, 30 years. He shot someone 8 times and then once in the head. And then 3 months later, he shot somebody, tried to kill somebody again. What makes him go back and try to kill his former classmates? Now you got the family, you know, they love to say the mental health problem. Could he have mental health issues? Yes. It's very possible that he has mental health issues. But I don't like to hear that all the time. Some people just do bad things because they're bad people. I mean, if someone goes up and shoots you 8 times and shoots somebody in the head, now I don't know if he was retaliating or getting revenge on something that happened in the past, or he just snapped and he had a grudge for him for no reason. But at the end of the day, he committed a horrible crime and he has to pay for it. And that's why he got 30 years or 25, 30. It's a crazy world, y'all. It's a crazy world. What do y'all think? Do you think he just snapped? Do you think he had mental health issues, or he just had a former grudge? He had a grudge against his former classmates. Something happened in the past. But let's get over into this article and see if we can learn anything else about it. Oh, well, we're not really an article. It's hard. It's not that much information out there about it, but good old AI helps us pull everything together. So Jet Horn was recently sentenced to 25 years in prison for a series of violent attacks, including tracking down and shooting his former high school basketball teammates. So the victim, Horn targeted multiple former classmates from the South Gwinnett High School in 3 separate incidents between December 2024 and May 2025. The first attack, like we heard, the violence began on December 18th when Horn ambushed his former teammate outside his home. He shot him 8 times, including 1 in the head, leaving him with brain damage. The next attack happened in March 2025, where Horn shot at another former classmate in his car with stray bullets, injuring a bystander and hitting nearby homes. So not caring about who he hits, who he hurts, he was just aiming for his target. And then if somebody gets hit in the background, oh, whoop-de-doo. In May 2025, he carjacked. So 3 months later, he carjacked a third victim at gunpoint before being tracked down and arrested by the police. I don't know if you can chalk that all up to mental health. I truly don't. I think he's just a bad actor, a bad character. He's a bad person. But I might be missing something. We don't know all the information. We don't know why he targeted these people. But like I said, at the end of the day, he did some horrible things, so he needs to pay for his actions. The motive for the shooting remains unclear, though the family suggests he was experiencing a mental health crisis after losing his brother. So he lost his brother and then went on a killing spree, or attempted killing spree. Did he think that they had something to do with killing his brother? That might be it. I don't know. So a jury found the 20-year-old. So he's 20 years old, high school. So he probably just got a high school, 4 years ago? What time? You usually get a high school at 17? Some people 17. So 3 years ago, he got out of high school. Of 20 counts, including aggravated assault, criminal attempted to commit a felony, hijacking a motor vehicle. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison with 25 to serve. So he said the first victim survived the attack and is undergoing extensive rehabilitation, working to regain basic abilities after nearly a year without traditional meals. His family has set up a GoFundMe page with the cost of his long-term care. That might be... I can't imagine. Yeah, I was about to say we're not even going to mention it, but somebody tried to kill you, and now you got to live as a with brain damage and trying to learn to read and walk and talk again. Family has to. It's a horrible situation. We pray for him. I would like to know why he targeted them. Did he think they had something to do with losing his brother? How did he lose his brother? There's a lot of questions. But at the end of the day, no matter what, he did something horrible and he deserves to be where he is. It's a crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Absolutely crazy. Do you think he had mental health issues and that is the reason that can explain all of this? Is that a valid reason that somebody could say, oh, it's a mental health issue, mental health crisis, and that's why he went down and almost did a triple homicide or double homicide? It went on a series of attempted murders. It's a crazy world we live in, y'all, but we got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. Absolutely crazy, y'all. But that is the end of the show today. Slightly shorter than usual. Not much. Well, slightly shorter for these newer episodes I'm doing. This Monday through Friday. But we went over 4 different crazy topics today. 4 different crazy topics. Everything from the DC National Guard shooting, teacher plotting to shoot up or kill ICE agents, fire rescue hazing, and then this last one, the attempted murder of former classmates. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said on any of these topics. What are your thoughts on some of this stuff? Or how do you feel about the world we live in today? But at the end of the day, y'all, it's a crazy world we live in. And we got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. Now, remember, y'all, this is AC Reviews the World, and I am your host, AC the Engineer. Thank you for watching now. Thank you for watching later. These videos will be broken down so you can watch the one that you want. If you have any feedback, please let me know. It's a crazy world, but we got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. But you already know what I got to do. I got to play the outro. But that's it for now, y'all. Peace.